Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
So yeah, it's Jay and Ryan here from the TBC. We just finished recording episode 9, and we had a special guest on. We had Iwan Williams on. He's a mental health and performance coach, and like I was just like fucking blown away from speaking to him, like, because I've never really heard of someone like this. Like, I obviously hear about like PTs and shit like that, but he does like everything from like mental health, like fitness, fucking
Nutrition.
even like nutrition and all stuff. And he's such a fucking intelligent guy, like so switched on, like really nice, friendly. He's fucking sexy as well, like
Really sexy.
proper sexy guy. It was just such a good chat, and like just same as always, mate. Knowledge is power, and we learn so much. Same as we did every time we get a guest on, we learn so much. And yeah, it's a fucking mint episode, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we're about, innit? Just, talk to people who are more intelligent than ourselves.
Yeah, but like that's what it's about, and we're collecting this knowledge like fucking Super Mario collecting gold coins. Like it's mint. And then like I say in the actual episode, like there's bits from when we did a recording with Rob Smith, and he taught us about like his EMDR, like, and the tapping coping mechanisms and stuff, and that came up in this a little bit. And if we hadn't spoke to Rob, we would have been fucking scratching our heads like fucking Donkey Kong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
don't know if all the Nintendo references are in this intro, but yeah, mate, it's a sick episode, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Yeah, we hope we all enjoy it.
Yeah, see you on the flip side.
Peace.
So we've just listened back to the recording, and this is like an extension onto the intro. Basically, the first 7 minutes of the recording is fucked. Like, it sounds like someone beatboxing.
It's a tune.
We just listen. Well, I just listened back. I'm semi-fuming, using your catchphrase there, but just because that episode's probably like one of the sickest ones we've done. And yeah, like the first 7 minutes has been chopped off, mate, like a fucking circumcised cock. So, bit fuming, but in terms of the questions and shit like that, it was just like a bit of an intro into Ewan. And what he does, which we cover in the podcast anyway. And then, what else was it that was missed? It was an icebreaker question.
We did an icebreaker question.
And he actually come up with a really sick philosophical.
I
was going to say, help me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wanted to like make it clear, because it kicks off pretty like seamless anyway. But just in case someone like jumps on and listens to it and it don't make much sense, just be aware that like the first 7 minutes of it got fucked up, but it's still a sick episode. It's still like 50 minutes of like absolute fucking mental health bollocks, and not even mental health, it's fucking mint, mate.
Yeah, it's just good for learning. So to we'll just give you his Instagram now so you can check him out. So he's at Iwan Williams, Iwan spell IWAN _modern man, and we just chat about like what he does for a living as a mental health and performance coach, and he tells us a bit about that. But if you just check out his Instagram, you'll be able to be able to see that from what we discussed in the first 10 minutes, which we've unfortunately lost.
Yeah, to be fair, it's only 7 minutes as well. It's probably just more like bit bantery and intro-y shit.
Yeah, it's calm.
Alright, calm. You've been watching Top Boy.
I have actually.
No, but also as well, just to echo what you said, like we'll be putting out our own Insta post tomorrow, and we're going to tag him in it anyway.
Yeah, true.
So hopefully. Yeah, you find the episode fucking interesting, because I know I did. I think he's a sick guy, and yeah, make sure you fucking hit him up.
Yeah,
right.
Peace.
Double peace again.
Peace. So we did our most recent podcast on male stereotypes, and I just wanted to see what your opinion of sort of what would you define as a modern man. Ian, because that's your sort of like, not your brand name or anything like that, but it's the modern man.
It is essentially his brand name.
Well, well is it? It is. I didn't want to assume.
It's on his fucking Instagram. He's got merch, mate.
What if it turned out it wasn't? It was like, it's not called the modern man, you fucking idiot.
Well, I'd be like, well, what's this fucking branding all over your social media then?
He's forgot the question now.
No, but I just wanted to add in on that question, because obviously you've not listened to our latest episode, which is stereotypes, and we did ask certain questions. It was like a different format, so I was asking Ryan a few questions on male stereotypes and outdated stereotypes, and it was things like, you know, your obvious ones like men don't cry, men should pay for dates, and men should take care of women, and I think there was like a couple more, weren't there? But
more, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously just piggybacking on Ryan's question, like what would you consider to be like the modern man in today's society? Do you agree with any of them? Do you disagree with any of them? Like, what's your thoughts?
I think in terms of what you mentioned in the like men should pay for dates, men don't cry. I think in terms of the date one, I think that's contextual, depending on what the man values, what the female values there. Whereas the men don't cry one is, you know, everyone has emotions and we need to express them. Otherwise they'll get suppressed. And then that comes through as poor physical or mental health eventually, which, I've personally experienced. And in terms of what a modern man is to me, it's someone who holds themselves in high regard, not arrogant, but confident within themselves, to essentially be able to have good personal standards, whatever that looks like to them, so that they feel healthier in body and mind, and they're able to be themselves authentically and essentially live a life where they're honest, they have integrity and discipline to the man that they want to become, if that makes sense.
That's a great answer.
No, it is. Wonderful stuff. So
another question, because I went onto your website and stuff like that and just had a quick look and tried to get a free trial, but I think you rejected me. I'm not joking, you didn't. And it says like you've got a bit of like a sort of bio about yourself and stuff like that. It said that you struggled with like alcohol, anxiety, depression, etc., and the people pleasing stuff. I just wanted to ask, like, do you know where that all like maybe have stemmed from, or is there a root cause in your mind that you can go back to be like, oh yeah, that was it, or that was why I did this, or anything like that?
Yeah, it's a tricky one to know exactly where it comes from, because I think there's multiple things that layer on top of each other.
Yeah.
And like you guys said in your first episode, pretty much everything and most things stem from childhood.
Yeah.
In some way. And I know through like my research and reading and whatnot that those years of like, have you heard of Joe Dispenza?
No.
A guy called Bruce Lipton as well. They're really cool people to check out on how, you know, beliefs are formed and things like that. But when we're like roughly the ages of 0 to 7, we're in this like theta brainwave state, which is almost like hypnotic. And so we're essentially recording the world around us. And that's where a lot of our core beliefs are formed.
In those 7 years?
From the age of 0 to 7, we're in like a slightly different brainwave state, which is theta.
Wow.
Which is a more hypnotic state. And we're very easily, what's the word?
Is it almost like manipulated?
In those states. Huh?
Is it almost like you're easily manipulated to believe something when you're in that state?
Yeah, because similar to what you were saying then about like being the age 0 to 7 and having a different kind of mindset. Me and my partner have like done research into kind of that kind of stuff or similar, and we've seen quite a lot of stuff that apparently children don't develop some form of the brain until I think they are about 7, and like prior to that, like they are kind of like narcissists and, you know, like just all about me, and they don't develop that kind of like empathy and, you know, like how other people feel. So, you know, it's interesting obviously that you said that as well, because I've done other like research about that, having kids as well, and, you know, just reading up on stuff like that, and there just must be something like that fucking switches in the brain, like you said, when you get to that age. But I always find it interesting when you ask people like what they remember from being a child and how far back they can go. Because I've been asked that before when I've done therapy. And when you actually do think, I can never actually think that far back. But sometimes I'll randomly just be like, do you know, just thinking back to my childhood and I'll have like a certain memory. And then you can like, sometimes you can like kind of like delve into it and you can go further and then you'll remember other stuff. Like I had a random memory today, like from the past, and it was really, really random. I was like, I wonder what's like brought that on. It was like, I must have been about 4.
Might have been a smell. That. Smell can trigger a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. It was mad.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, for sure. We're very egocentric when we're young. Yeah. The world does kind of revolve around us, or we think it does.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like you said, going back to your question, like people pleasing, and there's memories as well. I've got 3 that come to mind just now, which I'll share, of how when we're young, our parents, our caregivers, are our means of survival, right? Yeah. And so if something happens and it's not our fault, but we take it as our fault because we're egocentric as young children, and we almost put that blame on ourselves. And so that's where, going back to myself and people pleasing, it's that when sometimes maybe mum was upset or dad was upset or they were stressed and maybe unconsciously kind of snapped or something like that, we take that personally.
Yeah.
And so we then start to change ourselves to keep the peace, if that makes sense.
No, it does, definitely. Yeah. And I was so like that as a kid, like probably too aware of like my dad and his moods, and in being like really bad, like into his drinking and stuff. Like I was like very switched on in the sense of like I can't do X, Y, and Z because it could potentially like get annoyed at me and angry. So I spend my life literally walking on my tiptoes, and just doing anything to avoid, like from such a young age as well. And then I think I then carried that with me like my whole life, of like always like mental reviewing every situation and predicting what could happen and what outcomes might happen. And it's mad because like you said, that is from me being a child, and I've definitely carried that into my later life, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Almost like hypervigilance. Like your nervous system's trained to just be hyper aware of like everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you the kind of guy who's like feel like you're very in touch with how people are feeling?
Like a bit of an empath. As in, is that like how people are feeling towards you, or just in general? Like if you walk into a room, you can be like, "Oh, that person over there, I can like see they're a bit down." Is it almost like
kind of invisible? Just noticing.
I think so. A little non-verbal cues like body language and stuff like that. Like I think I'm quite good at telling that.
I think like you said, like I definitely like pick up on certain things, like especially like me and my partner do it with each other quite a lot. Like, do you know, like if the energy's a bit off, or like you can kind of tell, and like the first thing you'll do is be like, "Is everything okay?" And then like usually like the other person can get offended and be like, "Yeah, I'm fine," like fucking analysing me for and stuff like that. But I know what you mean, and like similar to what you did say, like the question you asked, like I sometimes feel like I can walk into a room and I'll have this like voice in my head, and I'm thinking like everyone's fucking watching me, and like I'll get up and walk across the room, and I'll think in my head like everyone's staring at me, and it's horrible, and I don't know where that's come from. But again, these are just like I was doing quite a lot of like self-reflecting, and I wrote for the first time ever, like no, I'm gonna go to therapy. I'll just freestyle and turn in and just talk about how my week's been or something. But like this time I actually wrote a load of stuff down, so I was quite prepared. And it's like the first time I've actually gone to a session, and I started like, you know, like when you get like a ball in your throat and your eyes tear up. I just had to take a deep breath and like pause for like a minute, and that's never happened before, ever. And I'm not even told anyone that as well. Like, yeah, it's mad.
Probably means you're breaking through like the barriers that your brain.
I think I was understanding, because I was like understanding like what I was trying to like figure out, and I was asking myself these questions out loud, obviously to my therapist, and it was like something dropped, and I was like, shit. I don't know, I don't even know what brought it on, but like you said, it's good to not like bottle it up, because then you end up like suppressing it, and I've done that so many times where I do bottle it up, and then I'll have like a mad episode where like I'll just fucking burst out, and me and the missus will have like a massive like, you know, fucking back and forth and stuff, and like, and then I'll end up keeping everything trapped in again then for ages and just bottling it up, and it's not healthy. Like, I'm really bad at talking and opening up and being open and having that trust and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'd say I'm similar.
Really?
Just sometimes struggle to fully open up, and I think that's one of those, like, going back to what you said earlier, the stereotypes. Stereotypes of not speaking about our emotions, and then they get bottled up and come out in not so healthy ways sometimes.
Definitely,
for sure.
I also, like, I think as well, I don't want to burden people, and I think that's why I don't open up a lot, you know, because I'll know, like, say my partner she has quite a stressful job, and she's studying something at uni as well and stuff, so a lot of the time we've got kids, so once everything's sorted and kids are in bed and, you know, it's time to wind down, I don't want to like start fucking dribbling on about how I'm feeling and, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. I just think, like, I've got the podcast to do stuff like that, and then I've got therapy as well. I don't feel like I'm being a burden, you know, like going on about myself, and then I don't know, I struggle as well, like, because it's mad, like when you do this kind of stuff, like, because we've spoken to other kind of guests, like we spoke to Rob, and he told us about his like EMDR, which was like the tapping therapy and like all that kind of stuff. And then I've read about other stuff with like OCD, and I feel like a lot of them are like interlink, and a lot of it is like bringing like these thoughts to the front of your head and just facing them face on. And like so much stuff I've read, it's like that helps so much, and like that's what I struggle with, because when these thoughts ping into my head, straight away I'm like pushing them back, like get the fuck away, and then I'll go make a brew, and I'll like, you know, I'll just do something else to like get it off, because
I'll just distract
it's
yourself.
because I'm not scared of thinking about them, I just don't want to. It's like, it's, you know, I know it is mad. It's a mad thing, the brain. I've been reading a lot about the brain recently, and all like neuroscience and stuff like that, and it's I've had a busy week.
Sounds like it.
Digging into the research.
Yeah,
it's amazing how the brain just creates these patterns of behavior and habits, and then they become unconscious, and then we just keep repeating those until we make the unconscious conscious.
Definitely.
Can they be able to kick? Can they be able to get rid of once you solidify a thought pattern in your head from a child, like an autopilot, so to speak? Can they be like? Do you know? You might not know, but are they hard to untangle?
The patterns that you've learned.
Yeah, the like the belief system that you get in your head from 0 to 7. Are they hardwired for life, or can you untangle them with a lot of practice?
Yeah, I think you can always change. You can always change a belief. And a good analogy that I use is, imagine you're walking through a woods, right? And you've got a path that's very well trodden, and you can clearly see that. Imagine that path is your thought pattern or your beliefs that you've developed throughout life. It's a lot easier to go through the path that's well trodden, because there's no brambles, no hedges, no shit in the way. Whereas creating a new thought habit, a new belief, a new pattern of behavior, you have to not go down the well-trodden path and start cutting your way through the brambles to create a new path. And so at first, it's harder, and you might be like, fuck this, I'll just go the normal way.
Oh, the easy way, yeah.
But every time you decide to take the hard route and maybe chop a bit more down, each time you do that, you're creating that new path.
Yeah, that's so true.
And eventually, that then becomes
the belief,
the new habit, thought, behavior, and then brambles and shit start to grow on the old path that used to be clear. If that makes sense.
It's really true, and it's a really nice
Very good
little story
analogy.
as well.
Yeah.
I again on my busy week of fucking researching and reading shit, I heard a similar kind of story, like an analogy, and you might have heard this one as well because I think it's quite a well-known one. You might not have done, so strap yourself in.
I'm buckled in, mate. Yeah.
It's only a really short one, and I'm probably not going to do it justice because I can't remember it word for word. But there's a man is walking in a woods as well, ironically. So he's in a woods and he's walking, and a tiger comes out of nowhere and starts chasing him. So he runs and he comes towards the end of a cliff, and he goes to jump off, and he hangs onto the edge of the cliff. So the tiger's at the top of the cliff. So if he gets back up, the tiger's obviously going to eat him. And then the drop down from the cliff is like a massive drop, and I think there's like crocodiles and shit at the bottom. So he has a choice that he can either climb back up and get fucking mauled by the lion or the tiger, whatever I said, or he can drop down and get ate by the crocodiles. So he's got them two choices, and then he notices to the side of him that there's a vine, and on the end of the vine there's a strawberry. And it's a really ripe, juicy strawberry. And then he picks the strawberry off, and he just takes a bite out of it, and he enjoys that moment and the strawberry for what it is. And I think like the plot of the story is acknowledging like the acceptance. So whether that could be something that you're in denial about, when you get pushed to the end and you finally come to terms with it, that you can then enjoy that moment. And I think they're trying to say that obviously he come to the end and he was on the cliff and he's accepted that either way, what he's going to do, he's going to die. So he just enjoyed that moment and enjoyed the strawberry. And I think it's, you can interpret it how you want, but the relation I was listening to it in was like in relation to like OCD and like intrusive thoughts and all stuff like that. And, once you accept it, then you can actually focus on the thing that matters, essentially. So yeah,
it's a good story. That
I was going to say it might be a bit shit.
No, it's good, mate. Honestly, what I thought there was what I took from it was like the ability to be present.
Yeah, even that, like, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's shit up there, there's shit down there.
I'm just going to enjoy this fucking strawberry.
Yeah, I'll just enjoy the strawberry.
And that could be anything. That could be like knowing that you're going to lose your job, which is down there, or there's something up there that's happening, but you've come home from work and your wife is the strawberry, and you're just going to enjoy her.
You're just going to go eat that bitch
up. Going to go and chew on her ass or something.
Tasty.
That's real tasty.
But yeah, enough of my fucking shite anyway.
You've been really busy.
I've told you, I've had a deep week.
So proud of you.
Yeah, normally he's the fucking nerd who does all the planning, and I just do the Instagram and I do the producing of like the tracks and like cut stuff out and all that. But you do all the notes, don't you? But this week I've been prepared. I've had a good week.
Honestly, I'm shocked.
Good.
Honestly, my jaw's smashing against my ankles.
He sends me every time all the questions and goes, "We're gonna see," and I'll just turn up and go, "Yeah, sound." And then I end up like just fucking rattling shit off. But I've had a good week this week.
I've had a good week, mate.
I know we had you coming on, mate, so I wanted to impress you. Cause
we're modern men, I promise.
I'll send you some t-shirts, boys.
Oh,
nice. No, but yeah, I was actually looking through your Instagram, and obviously, like we touched a little bit before on like the coaching and stuff like that. But like we said earlier on, it's obviously not just mental health, is it? Because I've seen that you cook food up as well, don't you? And do all stuff. Is it on nutrition, or am I making that bit up?
Yeah, so it's quite. There's lots of different avenues, and I think from my experience in the past of real quite poor mental health, like you said before, the anxiety, the depression, the drinking, all just building up from like childhood, like we spoke about, those points where that's just come to my mind as well. When you said about things that pop up from your childhood of maybe like rejection and things like that. And I can remember when I was must have been about 7 or 8 or 9, one of those. and we were on holiday in West Wales in a
Holiday.
caravan park that we go to every year. What was that?
Holiday. Holiday in Wales.
I used to always go Wales, mate. It's sick Wales.
It's a loose term of the holiday word, though, isn't it? Come on.
It's a fucking break, isn't it? Give them a break.
Yeah.
Different postcode. It's an holiday.
And yeah, made friends with this guy, and I was buzzing. I was like 7, so it was cool to make friends with people that are a couple of years older than you. And then just had a laugh, had good fun, and then at the end of the day, in the evening, he was like, "Oh mate, I don't really like you. I don't want to be a friend anymore.
Jesus.
I don't think we can hang out anymore." And now, being like adult Ewan, I'm like, that's fine. Fine, he doesn't want to be my mate, cool. But there's like that inner me that's like, was fucking so upset, crying, felt rejected, and yeah, almost. That's kind of one of the layers.
Yeah.
That built up to.
When you start thinking
me
about
struggling
what's wrong with me? Why does that person not want to be around me? Is it me?
Yeah.
Am I this? Am I that? That's circling around your head as a 9-year-old. Can't be nice.
It's mad. Is that why you moved back to Cardiff to hunt him down?
Chop him up.
Be like, I'm a modern man now.
He's actually your neck of the woods, I believe.
Is there?
He's from the north, yeah, somewhere.
We'll get him for you.
We'll get him on. No.
No. We'll go fucking do it.
Nah, he's sound. We've gotten over that. And yeah, just like these layers, and then when I was about 19, after really struggling with anxiety, masking it with being a lad, being a bit bravado, playing rugby, drinking, which at the time I thought was just normal. It was, I was having a laugh, and I didn't really realise what the anxiety was. I thought everyone experienced that, but I had mainly social anxiety, so that's where like this laddie persona came from. And then when I was 19 at Boardmasters Festival, if you know it.
No.
Down in Cornwall. I was on a cocktail of drugs and whatnot, drinking, barely any sleep for the whole weekend, and had like the weirdest panic attack / out of body / psychotic experience.
Jesus.
And I was conscious of it all. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Wow.
And so that happened, and I like took myself to the med tent, and I remember distinctly walking back that I was out of my body, looking down on myself. At the time, I had no idea what that was. I was really scared, and then I wasn't quite right for a while after that. And then the anxiety skyrocketed. And I thought that I had actually died at the festival, and I was walking around in a world that wasn't real.
Oh my God, that is awful.
And it was fucking very scary. And I've since learned that it's almost like a coping mechanism for your brain when it's super, super stressed. Depersonalization and derealization, it's called, which was, really scary.
That sounds it.
I was in a hole for a long time, 6 to 12 months.
Wow.
Being like that is quite scary. And so I was kind of at a crossroads with my own mental health, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. This is too much. Every day is like, feels like hell, because I actually thought I was dead in hell. And then I was like, I don't know what twigged in me, but I was like, nah, just really try and do some work, try and get out of this.
Like
prove to yourself
there's more to do.
Yeah, prove to yourself that you're more than this, and you know you've got a family that love you and people like that. I'm getting a bit emotional now talking about it, which is good.
It's good.
And so I was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm finding a way out because I don't want to take the easy way out.
Yeah.
And then I just did loads of research around mental health, physical health, everything. And yeah, started, meditating, doing breath work, doing a lot of kind of like somatic based like therapies.
Somatic?
Like tapping.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Came on and did. I haven't done EDMR or EMDR, but I know of it. It's like the eye movement.
Yeah.
Desensitization, which is really good for PTSD, I believe.
Yeah, well, that's what it was for.
That's what it was for.
PTSD.
Yeah. So I did kind of all that kind of stuff alongside, obviously, getting myself moving again, trying to sort out my sleep because that was all over the place.
Was that because of the anxiety that you didn't want to go to sleep?
It was anxiety and also just insomnia because I just couldn't sleep because everything was so out of whack. And I think that was from years of just my nervous system not being in a healthy place through these small things that built up psychologically, but also physiologically in, drinking too much, not eating great food, but and some of us genetically are more susceptible to low mood and having adverse effects from like lack of sleep, too much poor food choices, not enough exercise and things like that, and the physiological fundamentals, which I've learnt, and from everything that I've been doing, I've just almost learnt and dug into so many different avenues and aspects of health. Like I've done a genetic test to figure out what I'm more susceptible to having. I've done some blood tests. I've done a shit stool test. You can poo out for 3 days, getting it sent off.
That's a commitment,
to essentially check out like inflammation in the gut.
So can you then like figure out what stuff is like best for you, like in terms of like what you put into your body and stuff like that to get the maximum output going forward?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could do that. That's
precision.
Really cool.
Precision, like health, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're not massively cheap, but I was in a place where I just wanted to find answers. So I did all these things like physiologically with the testing, and then I got some therapy, and then tried these things with myself as well, like the breathwork, cold water exposure, training and whatnot. And I think it's a blend of all these things together that make real long-lasting positive change. In some of us, there's usually areas that are like the anchors that are dragging us down, and sometimes it can be different for anyone. Like for someone it could be the fact that their nutrition is shit, so their brain health's not very good, and so then they feel shit mentally. For others it can be we're socially isolated so that we don't have that connection to other people. And so that's kind of going back to your question. That's the long way around.
So interesting that, mate. Like I just wanted to ask quickly, when you sent off them tests, like your blood and your shit and stuff like that, did anything come back that like surprised you and you was like, oh shit, do you know, like were you like allergic to anything, or does your body not agree with anything, and or just anything come back and you was a bit like, whoa, never knew that?
Yeah, so the bloods were all right. They were normal according to whatever normal is these days. And they based that on the average population, and I mean the average population isn't massively healthy these days. So
Yeah.
there's a difference between like normal and optimal ranges for bloods, and they were all fairly all right. The gut test I didn't have a very diverse microbiome, so varying different like varies and species of gut bacteria. And in the research, and it's fairly new still, so they're still finding out shitloads, but the key seems to be having a diverse, amount of gut bacteria is more healthy.
Yeah.
And I had quite low levels of the potentially more beneficial and higher levels of the potentially harmful bacteria, which can then create what they call dysbiosis in the gut, and that can lead to things like gut inflammation and something called leaky gut.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Familiar with it.
Yeah.
In that like way, I'm not even going to say it, actually. I was going to say because I heard something about someone once who had a leaky gut. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Gordon Ramsay or someone like that, and they went vegan to stop it because it can apparently help. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but
yeah, it depends on what's kind of causing it for that person. And yeah, so found out that was pretty much the issue, and that caused a lot of intolerances to like gluten, dairy, loads of things that came up on this intolerance that I did, which they're not always like massively accurate. So you got to take it with a pinch of salt and kind of put it next to how you feel and your experience subjectively as well as objectively with the tests and stuff. And yeah, I found out, and I know now as well for a fact that gluten fucks me up. And I mentioned this to you guys about the beers and the neck oils. And it's weird because that with like the leaky gut, you can heal it for sure. But still certain things always trigger this reaction within you. And gluten does that for me. And so when there's that slightly like triggered immune reaction in the body, that creates a bit of inflammation. And sometimes, especially with leaky gut, things like gluten, larger like proteins that shouldn't or wouldn't normally get into the bloodstream, they do. And then that can create problems everywhere then. And that's where you get a lot of like autoimmune problems from.
Right.
Because people have leaky gut, things get into the bloodstream, and then the immune system attacks different parts of the body. And for me, I know that shows up in the brain because it's weird, like 3 to 5 days after eating gluten or drinking it, I get real low energy. I start to feel a bit depressed and get really negative.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do. I've just got to ride it out.
Ride that wave. Ride that gluten wave.
Ride the wave. It's happened so many times now, and I've tried so many times and gone, I'll be fine this time. Just have a little bit. 3 days later, why do I feel like absolute arse?
That's
that'll be why.
Do you know what pisses me off? Like when you go in a shop as well, like all the gluten stuff's so expensive, and I'm like, why would you do that? Like, because do you know what I mean? Like, say for instance, someone like yourself, like you said, who obviously would try to avoid it and stuff. It's like they then whack the prices up because it is though, isn't it? Like I've seen in the shop like a gluten fucking loaf of bread will be like £3.50 or something, and I'm like, how? Like, what is the difference for someone who don't really know much about gluten, like myself?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all. The thing is, it's the gluten alternatives to things that normally have gluten in that seem to be well expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just fuck bread off and eat rice and potatoes. It's a bit cheaper. But obviously, sometimes it's nice to have a bit of cheese on toast and whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the story and why I do more than just like PT and physical health.
Yeah.
Look at nutrition, sleep, kind of like the lifestyle.
It's so good though, mate, because like you said, a lot of PTs are just like mad fucking steadheads in gyms and that, and they'll just tell you what to do, whereas obviously like it's like you're doing everything, but like obviously just from speaking to you now for like nearly an hour, like you're so fucking intelligent and like you know your shit, you know, and it's refreshing to hear, do you know what I mean? Because obviously you know a lot about the mental side, the physical side, and then even about the gut, the mind, the body, everything like that. And I know gut's like been a massive thing over the last couple of years in general anyway, and obviously like and that affects like your sleep and everything like that. But yeah, it's mega to hear, mate, and it's so mad. Like, they are like so interlinked, aren't they? And like how it's trying to think how to word it, but like how sleep can affect certain things, and then that will ripple into like it's like you need to get up that courage to kickstart yourself to start training again and like going running again and stuff like that. But then you also need to be eating good. But then when you get that cycle flowing with all of them together, that's when it like works. And that's what I'm struggling with at the moment. Like I want to start getting back exercising again and training, but then you're always like, I can't be bothered because I'm so tired. But that's probably because I'm eating shit. So like you said, it's like a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like getting over that initial inertia where you're feeling a bit more fatigued.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas if you got out for, that 5-minute run or 10-minute run or 30-minute gym session, things start to create that upward spiral. Yeah. And that's it. It's like I always do a bit of almost like an audit and ask certain questions to figure out which lever is going to be the most beneficial to pull to help someone the most at first to get that quick result or quicker initial change, because then that creates momentum, motivation, because you're seeing results. Whether that's going to be working on your sleep, getting out for more exercise, getting more daylight, which is fucking difficult in the UK this time of year.
So say if I was a client now then, and I've just been like, I've just stumbled on your Instagram and I've seen your abs, mate, you can fucking grate cheese on them. How do I?
But then he won't be able to eat it.
If I was like, how do I get abs like that? Like, would you just be like, oh, so let's sit down and see what would work for you? Because maybe, I don't know, it won't work for you if you just went straight to the gym and twatted it. Maybe you need to like eat better, and then that would,
Yeah, whatever's going to be the most beneficial for you to make a start.
Yeah.
And obviously with the abs, it's like, thank you, Bellamy. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. With that, it's...
And you're getting a free programme now, mate. Well done. Well played. Well done. Good lad.
I'm going to have abs soon.
Yes. Abs before Christmas.
Free 90-day programme for you. With abs, it's like, that's just a lot of the time just stripping off body fat and doing a bit of weight training and building muscle. It depends on what, like you said initially, that person wants. Yeah. So if you're a client, I'd be like, okay, what do you want to achieve? If it's abs, why is that? What's the intention behind getting abs? There's no right or wrong.
Birds.
If you want to look fluffy on a beach,
birds.
If your cheese grate is broken, you need a new one. Go for it. Well, there you can just 5 minutes down the shop and get another one, not like 3 to 6 months of consistency and action. That's it. It's the consistency in the healthy habits and behaviours over time is the main thing.
So would you tell people like what stuff to eat as well then, like do dietary plans and stuff?
Yeah, if they want, I give them advice. if they want exact step by step, like eat this at this time. I don't recommend that to everyone because we have work lives, we have family that we eat at dinner time with and want to eat together.
Yeah.
And so it varies depending on how strict people want to be.
Yeah.
You know, like an elite athlete, then why not have set meals every meal this time, exact amount of macronutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats.
I think that's how you would get consistent with it. If Ewan told you eat that at that time, that at that time, that at that time, you know, like give him an absolute. I think that's the only way you'd stick to it.
Definitely, yeah. And seeing the results as well, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that helps when you see the results. But I was actually just going to say on the back of that, like, just an idea that popped into my head. Have you ever thought about like teaming up with like a Hello Fresh or something like that? And, you know, I don't know, like put like fucking Modern Man in and get
Modern
like
Man
a discount code.
recipes.
But then like you tailor make their plan for them, and then like they buy it, and then you make X amount from the discount code and stuff. I don't know, just a little business proposition for you to maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's a good idea.
Yeah. Write that down.
Write that down, mate. Hello Fresh. Going on that email. Yeah, no, it's great. I think it's great to almost join up with other
definitely
businesses and other people like yourselves right now, coming on here having a good conversation. Is connecting and, you know,
100%, and that's
putting out hopefully a good message to other people.
I love it as well because it's so insightful, and like every time we have a guest on, like I always learn so much, and from having other guests on, I've been able to like obviously, I don't know, throw fucking EMDR into the conversation, and before that I didn't even know what that was.
Didn't know what
it existed. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and now I do, and then I've read up on like OCD, and like you just learn so much from talking about it. And like before we did this, like I didn't really know football.
Oh man, we didn't know shit. We still don't know shit in the grand scheme of things, but that's why you talk to people, because we're people who come from like different walks of life and got different opinions and stuff like that. So that's why it's good to just every day try and learn something new. Definitely. And I think you can't go far wrong if you try and do that.
Yeah, massively. There's always opportunity, isn't there, to learn.
Do you think people overcomplicate the ability to lose weight? Because if you look at it from like a simple like thermodynamic like equation, it can be quite simple. But people
eat less, walk more,
eat less and move more, like that kind of shit. But do you go into it and try and simplify it for that person as much as possible to not sort of like discourage them from not sticking to your advice and stuff like that? Do you try and strip it back to a like methodical way of doing things?
Yeah, I think people do make it overcomplicated.
Yeah.
If you look at the research, it is as simple as energy in versus energy out.
Yeah.
However, humans are complicated, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Humans are complicated. Our environment isn't straightforward either. You know, the easily accessible foods, and like we were saying earlier, how everything's interlinked. If we've got shit sleep, we're not able to regulate our blood sugar as well, so that then we're less able to regulate our appetite. And so it's again going back to that, what's going to be best for this person depending on where they're at, to be able to, if they're trying to lose weight, get them in an energy deficit. And whether that's not giving them any like targets to aim for, bar, why don't you try, if you're up for it, and if they're interested in it, why don't you try skipping breakfast?
Yeah, like intermittent fasting that people call it. It's essentially just skipping breakfast, isn't it? You're not intermittently fasting, you're skipping a meal. So you're in less calories throughout the day.
Is it a myth then that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Because you hear that a lot as a kid, don't you? Is that just a bit of a myth?
I believe it's a myth. Yeah. I believe that it was designed by the cereal industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Kellogg.
Mr. Kellogg.
Need to buy a Special K.
Drop 2 dress sizes in 2 weeks, eat nothing but Special K.
No.
Yeah, we don't need breakfast. I mean, if you think about our DNA, our biology, down to like, you know, the evolution of where we are now from years and years and years ago, like when we were hunter-gatherers is a common example. They had to go out and find food. So food was scarce.
Yeah.
So they unintentionally fasted because they had to go and find the food, right? And it takes, I don't know exactly how long, a long time for DNA to evolve. Whereas if you look at society, since like the Industrial Revolution, 100 odd years ago, not too long ago, whereas humans have been around for a very long time, a lot longer than that. We've created the light bulb, we've created ultra processed foods, everything's so easily accessible. Our biology hasn't been able to adapt and keep up with the societal changes. So the environment is out of balance for us to be able to, and when I say environment, the things around us, like, you know, the foods, the light in the evening coming through our eyes, which is keeping us awake, stopping us from getting good sleep. It's like mismatched between that and our DNA and our biology, and I think that's where a lot of health problems stem from. Is that we've tried to, we've done incredible things, made, you know, incredible inventions, like who doesn't love a fucking donut?
It's true. They are incredible.
Who doesn't love going to the cinema and watching a film? It's nice being able to, you know, do stuff a bit later, go out, have a few drinks with your mates, go and watch a footy game in the evening,
so
under the lights. Incredible inventions, however, they're not conducive to human health, I believe, long term.
Yeah, that's true.
You make some changes to them, and that's why you see people wearing these red light glasses in the evening and things like that.
What is that, blocking out more light or something? What's the deal with those red glasses?
So the blue light in say light bulbs and mine's just gone off. So look at this thing. This is a SAD lamp. So this light going through my eyes now, because it's white light and the spectrum of blue light in it, when that hits your eye,
yeah,
essentially signals to your brain that it's light outside, or maybe even it's morning, or daytime, and that signals to your body to essentially increase like stress hormone, cortisol, and decrease melatonin, which is the hormone that essentially helps us feel lethargic and get to sleep well. It does a load of other things as well, which I'm not that clued up on, but when this bright light comes through your eyes, spikes cortisol, so stimulates our nervous system and our body, lessens melatonin production. So at night time, when we're meant to be sleeping, we're wired and we're awake because we've got this light coming through. And so it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just mistimed, because it's meant to be higher in the morning to wake us up, keep us alert. This is cortisol, the stress hormone. Melatonin is meant to be lower in the morning so that we're not groggy and lethargic and want to stay in bed all day, which still happens sometimes anyway.
True.
And then throughout the day, cortisol is meant to come down, melatonin's meant to come up if our body clock and our circadian rhythm is in sync. so that we feel tired in the evening when we're asleep. But light and bright lights with blue light in it stop that or block that from happening.
That's why it's like to be on your phone, isn't it? Yeah. If you're on your phone before you go to bed, that blue light's going into your eyes, isn't it? And then when you put the phone down, it's like, is it like sort of like still like lingering behind your eyes and prevent you, or can prevent you from getting to sleep straight away? So the same sort of light.
Yeah, that's it. It's not necessarily lingering, but it's that light, as soon as it hits your eye, that sends signals through the, I don't know what nerve it is, optical nerve, to the brain, to this part of your brain called the SCN. It's got a fancy, strange name, super chiasmatic nucleus or something.
That
that signals to your body what time of day it is. And essentially we get confused because it's meant to be dark.
Yeah.
Yet we're looking at our phone, which is blue light, and that's not natural light. So our brains, like I was saying earlier, it's not evolved to deal with that yet. It might do.
Yeah.
Probably not in our lifetime.
I wonder if that's, do you know Kindles? I wonder whether that's why they've been designed the way they've been designed, because they're not like blue lights or anything, are they? They're quite like, do you know, when you're reading them, it's almost as if you're reading a book, isn't it?
It's quite dim.
Yeah. So, you know, because they do say, don't they, like, you should be encouraged to, like, read more and stuff like that. And I seen a mad stat the other day. It was something about kids that if you're a kid under the age of 10 or something and you enjoy reading for pleasure, there's a stat that you're going to grow up to be naturally, like, more intelligent or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but I find that really interesting.
Yeah, I think reading makes you intelligent, just no matter what age you are.
Even when I read bedtime stories to the kids, like, that even helps, because, like, you get better at reading. Course, like when to, like, stop or do, like, a different voice and shit like that. Whereas when you haven't read for time and then you go to read, you, like, stuttering, you know, like in Happy Gilmore, when he's like, today, Junior.
I think it's Billy Madison.
Billy Madison, sorry.
Today, Junior. Yeah, it's fucking meant that.
Oh, mate, but yeah, I've really, really enjoyed this, but I think we've got one more. I've got one more question anyway. I was going to ask you, what would you say the most common thing is that clients come to you with, in terms of, like, saying, you know, because you offer such, like, a wide spectrum of services, like, what's the most common thing, if there is one, that people come to you with?
Yeah, I've kind of got three. Can I say three?
Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
So one is, I don't think I've ever had a guy come to me that doesn't want to get in better physical shape.
Yeah.
Whether that's dropping a bit of body fat or building a bit of muscle.
Yeah.
Whether that's being able to bang out pull-ups for fun, or be able to run like 10k, do a half marathon or something like that. That's one thing. Every guy that has come to me, is not saying that every guy in the world wants this, but they want to get in better physical shape. They quite often struggle with their energy, particularly in the morning, waking up groggy. But they know that if they were to tweak their routine a little bit, they could feel much better. And they know that they've got more to give as well, that they're capable of more than they're currently operating at. And the third one is mostly stability in their mood. They want to be less on the roller coaster of emotions and more kind of level-headed.
That'd be a big one for me. Like,
I struggle to, like, plateau out, like, your emotions.
Yeah.
Throughout the day.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be a big one for me, in terms of, like, having that consistency with, like, a certain mood and stuff. Because I'd say I'm quite roller coastery quite a lot. So yeah, I'm not surprised that's, like, quite a common one. But all three of them, to be fair, well, not so much the second one, but definitely the first one and the third one, I'd say I'd relate to, definitely.
But it's a misconception, you know, with that waking up feeling groggy, Ewan, and then I don't think people realise that if you were to then go and actually do something that exerts energy, you're going to get more energy from it afterwards, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, if you go turn up to the gym and you like can't be asked doing anything, but if you go for it, or you know, for like 10, 12 minutes, you're probably more likely to do a 40-minute session, because once you start, your body's like fucking, it's almost like a craving, isn't it? It's like, I want more of this.
Doesn't it release that certain chemical in your brain? What's it called?
Endorphins.
Something like, I've heard something like that, and then it's like a natural kind of high, isn't it, or something that you can get. Because going back to what we were saying before about when you work out and stuff like that, there's then that cycle of like, you know, that feeling. I always find when I've worked out in the past, because at the start of lockdown we used to do HIIT workouts.
Oh mate, we got shredded wheat in lockdown.
We used to Zoom each other not Zoom, like WhatsApp video.
No muscle, you, and just twiglets, mate.
Absolute
just
shredded.
Banged out HIIT workouts and eat fuck all.
Just
and we
shredded carrots, mate.
Yeah, absolute carrot smoothies.
No, but like we'd be doing these HIIT workouts, and to be fair, like we did it for a good 4 months or something, and
every
like,
day.
Towards the end of it, like you did see a difference, you know, like in tone and stuff like that. But it's what my point was is like when I work out, I naturally after it want to eat good. Like if I did a workout and then someone offered me a fucking, I don't know, a big sloppy vegan burger or something, I'd be like, nah, I'm all right. Like I'd rather eat, I don't know, some steamed veg and fucking rice or something. Do you know what I mean? Because you feel good after doing that. You want to eat good, and I've always found that with myself.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's the same for everyone else, but
yeah, I got you. And I think was it dopamine you were?
Yeah, dopamine. Yeah. That's the one. Well played, sir.
Yeah, for sure. I think like you said, right. If you wake up and you feel groggy, I can guarantee you, if you go and stand in a cold shower, you won't feel groggy anymore.
No.
I've seen loads of stuff recently about cold water and cold and hot. And something I was reading about, they were saying I do cold because it's more easily accessible as opposed to hot. And you've been doing a few cold dips and stuff, haven't you?
Oh, I do them all the time. Yeah, and they're in the reservoir near us.
And doesn't it help because it helps reset something in your mind or something when it's like a body shock?
There's loads. What I've like read up on it is it releases like shock proteins, like it's not shock proteins, but like when your body thinks it's in danger, it releases these like weird proteins into your blood or something like that, and it can be dead good for like your immune system and things like that. And I there's probably loads more that I obviously don't know about, but I just fucking love it. I love putting my body through something that I fucking straight up don't want to do. I don't want to do it when I'm walking in there. I don't want to do it when I jump in. I don't want to do it, and then I'm getting out and getting dry, and I'm like, I fucking love that. It's weird. It's like the it's such a weird. I can't describe it, but
pushing yourself out your comfort zone as well. It's always
that's the only way you make progress. Like you put yourself in situations that you fucking don't want to do, and then do them.
Definitely do it with you, but
you're on top of the world.
When it's not icy and that, I'll do it. Like
puss it. I'm doing it Christmas Day. Me, you, Christmas Day, going fucking straight in there.
Ched, mate. Like I'll definitely do it.
2 degrees it is at the minute. The water. It's like getting into a bath of knives.
Love it.
But it's mega. I'd recommend it to absolutely anybody to do it because it's just an absolute buzz.
Yeah, the feeling you get after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I do it towards the night time, so I finish work at 8 o'clock. If I go in at 8:30.
It's not that dark though.
Yeah, it's dark as fuck, mate.
But do you strip off or?
Sometimes.
No, like, do you actually have clothes on, or do you just get down to shorts?
Just get down to shorts or boxes or whatever.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, when I get home at like 10 to 9, I have the best sleep.
Oh, nice.
You know, because like I don't know, it releases a lot of stress energy because your body thinks it's survival mode, and then I'm knocked out. Like I don't remember falling to sleep on nights where I go in there. When I go in there at night and come home.
Yeah.
It just knocks you out.
You feel zen afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Although when you go in, you feel like fucking it's stressful.
Yeah.
Initially, and then you kind of get through it, don't you? And afterwards, you kind of got this real chilled, calm, zen feeling.
Yeah, it's like what your body's released all its energy that it's had.
Does your cock turn inside out when you get in?
Fuck mate, I come out, I could flip my bean, mate, honestly, when I come out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
brilliant.
absolute cocktail sausage afterwards.
I look like a mannequin. He's just flat. Just fuck all there.
Just a fucking ball patch with nothing.
Yeah, going in.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's class.
I look like a fucking Coke bottle top.
That's mega.
Got one last question for you, Ewan.
Hit me up.
Who are you drinking, Ewan? So he loves it in the flesh. It's better in the flesh.
Oh, I don't actually know what it means. Who am I drinking?
Oh, he's only listened to one episode, hasn't
Sorry, right. So we have an end of podcast tradition where we say who you're drinking, because we always like bring a can with us of a different IPA. So we traditionally always ask. He always asks me who I'm drinking, and we obviously always drinking the same one. But when we have a guest come, we like to ask the guest who they're drinking to.
Got ya.
You'd know this if you listen to the podcast.
I swear I messaged you saying feel about this specific segment. I said feel no pressure, but we're doing the who you drinking bit at the end, and he still didn't fucking know.
Oh, mate, I'm
Too busy just doing press ups, mate.
Too busy squatting in the gym, boys. Sorry.
No, don't worry, mate. I'm definitely gonna. Well, there you go.
Some high quality H2O,
I've
baby.
finished my glass of H2O.
Nice.
Well played, mate.
I'm definitely gonna get onto your website though, and just fucking hit you up and I don't know, fucking learn some shit, like, because I'm interested, mate. You got me hooked. I want to get abs. I was asking for me before. Metaphorical question.
Oh no, I knew that. He knew that as well.
No, that's mega, mate. But it's been absolutely mint having you on. Such a sound guy, and like what you're doing's fucking mint. And yeah, I've really enjoyed meeting you and having a good chat, mate.
Cheers, boys. Appreciate you having me on. Where are you guys based?
We're in it's near Oldham, isn't it? Do you know Saddleworth?
No.
But just say Manchester.
Greater Manchester.
Yeah, Greater Manchester.
So we're like about 20 minutes away from Manchester.
Oh, nice. Wicked. I'm heading up in February, so...
What, to Manchester?
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you heading to?
I don't actually know. There's an event on in Old Trafford that I'm going to.
Oh, Old Trafford, yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah.
If you need any groupies, Ewan, hit us up. We'll wear your tees, wear your caps. We'll push you to the Manchester general population.
Yeah, mate.
Sounds...
Let us know, mate, when it is and that, and like, you know, if you're down for a while, and that'd be good to like fucking meet up and go for a glass of water or something.
Go do some press ups somewhere and go for a glass of water.
Go for a dip.
Go for a dip.
Do some squats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Press ups, glass of water with some high quality salt in it.
Yeah.
Dip. and
then measure cops afterwards.
Maybe a neck oil after.
Yes, mate. A gluten-free one.
Gluten-free neck oil for you and over there.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, mega. Thanks for your time, Ewan. It's been a blast, mate. I really appreciate you coming on and stuff like that, and what you're doing out there for all these like young, old, whatever, middle-aged men. Like, it's world-class, mate, what you're doing, and I think you should be fucking dead proud of yourself. Cheers, boys. Massively appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and thanks for doing exactly what you do, putting out a good message, having a laugh whilst doing it. You need to watch some more podcasts then, because the message only gets better. Yeah, I will. I'll let you know. Hold me to it. Yeah, well, if I don't speak to you before, I may have a great Christmas and New Year, and definitely hit us up in February when you're coming up, and you will definitely come down to your event to see you in that. Yeah, sound lads. Cheers. Right, take it easy, mate. Take it easy, and all the best, mate. Have a good evening, gents. You too, mate. Bye. Right, that was sick. That was mega. Really, really enjoyed that. What a guy. Yeah, let's wrap this up and do the intro in it, because we always do the intros after it, because we're just fucking so sick now. Weird guys, mate. TBC out. Peace.